Hey everybody, welcome to episode 46 of Between the Lanes. I'm Ralph.
And I'm Ron.
All right, race reports, upcoming races, giveaways, hot topics, the usual.
The usual. Glad to have you back, Ralph.
Thank you.
So, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. And we got the race results from last weekend's races. The winning reports.
Hey, it's you.
It's me. Yes, I was at the John Austin birthday race last weekend at Mid-America Raceway in Chicago. Celebrating John Austin's 69th birthday. A lot of people would know him as Johnny Slot Car, but John Austin's been around a long time racing, off and on and stuff. And he puts on these fun races up in the Chicago area once a month. And he decided to have a birthday bash. And so we raced and we had pizza and it was a pretty good time. So in F1, I was the winner. And Cato was second. And Ricky D was third. And Can-Am I won again with Terry Watson second and Brian Wild Hairdo Meharry third. It was so funny when we was taking this picture because he's like, he's kind of behind me taking the picture. And whoever's trying to take the pictures just kind of keeps cracking up. And, I look over at Brian.
What's going on?
Brian really wasn't doing nothing and looked back, but he was over there messing with his hair, so. And then in the JRL class on the LTD, Brian Meharry kind of smoked him with John Austin's car, and Dale Lipe was second, and Ricky D was third. And LMP, Brian won by a couple laps over Ricky D, and I was a couple laps back in third.
Was that on the LTD also?
It was also on the LTD. And the LTD is like unbelievable job Gary Gerding did redoing the track. I mean, when we were practicing, we were still getting some dust and stuff on our tires and, kicking stuff up out of the slots. Nothing real horrible, but, the track, really all the track needed was just some more rubber down on it, and it would have been really, really better than what it was. But it was still kind of green, and it was
right.
Fast, and I can't really remember the last time I ran up there. Before they redid the track, we ran LMP, but we ran Retro Hawk motors, and I think all of us were running ProSide FK motors, the top three of us. And I just can't remember how fast we went the track before, but Brian and I ran into 4.7s in practice, which was pretty sporty. And I think he ran some 4.8s in the race. I don't really remember off the top of my head, but it was a lot better. So
now, did you run full brakes on that flat track, or did you dial some brakes out?
So I thought, well, I'm going to because last time I ran there, I ran a Mazzetti Defender with a lightweight metal pan. So I thought, well, I want to take one of my cars and put a lightweight metal pan on it. So I did that, and I was kind of struggling in practice, but everything I kept doing to the car, I made it better. Like took tape off the pan and added a little bit of lead. I had lead in the back to begin with, but I took the tape off, and that made it a little better. And then I put a little bit of lead in the front, in the nose area, and that made it a little bit better. And took the tape because the car, I guess I just had tape on the front. So, I got the car going pretty good, but I still wasn't it just wasn't right. You know what I mean? So,
right.
We went and raced Can-Am, came back over, I'm running laps. Terry had put a car together, and he says, here, run my car. So I'm running his car. I'm like, holy cow, this car is like unbelievable compared to my car. So I'm like, what is that? And he goes, that's just one of my GTP cars. I changed the bodies, and it had aluminum pan on it. And I'm like, So I went over and grabbed one of my GTP cars and swapped bodies. And it was like, oh, the aluminum pan car was way better than the metal pan car.
There you go.
So I wound up, and I think, I think I had a better, or I might say better. I mean, I think I had a little bit faster motor in the metal pan car than what was in the aluminum pan car, but I didn't have time to switch them out and see if I could have picked up a little bit more there. But
Right.
speed really wasn't my issue. I just need more laps on that track. I mean, Ricky and Brian, they run every week almost, and they're a couple of tough characters to beat. Dale Lipes a tough character to beat, but he had problems in the race. I mean, so, it just comes down to I need more laps on that track. So, I think my car was competitive. I think I could have made my car competitive if I had more time, but it was way better than what I originally started with. So I was happy with my third place finish. So
Cool.
The Gator Retro Racing Group was at Fast Eddie's Raceway in Pinellas Park, Florida.
Yep.
And Stock Car was won by Jeff Bonanno, Eddie Hoffman, Raceway owner, in second, and Rick Moore in third. And they raced on the oval. And in the Can-Am class, which they switched over to the hill climb there, Rick Moore was the winner. Jeff Bonanno was second, and Brian Ambrose was third. And then F1, Rick Moore was the winner. Terry Tawney was second, and Jay Gard was third. It was kind of interesting because they had they ran two mains or two heats in stock car and Can-Am, and F1, I think they only had 7 or 8 entries. I don't know what happened, if it was getting late in the day or what, but didn't have so many F1 cars for some reason.
Oh, I almost didn't recognize Terry Tawney with that goatee he's got going on.
Yeah. He's styling. Buena Park Raceway, they had an LMP Enduro last Thursday, and they used the new Mid-America Phoenix motor. And the winning team was Sam Rackham and Kylie. Mike T and Russ Yu was second, and Bill Taylor and Steve L were third. And I guess the winner got a toilet seat. Kind of unique.
That's unique.
I don't know who got taken home, but so. And then the SCRRA was at Buena Park Raceway last Saturday. And in the F1 class, Alex was the winner, Bill V was second, Dale Yamashita third. And in Can-Am, Duran was the winner with Sam Rackham second and Dale Yamashita in third. And then the Northeast Nazra wing car group ran at Port Jeff, world famous Port Jeff Raceway, Long Island, New York. And of course, they raced wing cars. And I don't have any podium pictures, but One Motor 12, Sean DePlummer was the winner. Justin Bader was second. Walter Berg was third. They raced One Motor Group 15. Walter Berg was the winner. Doug Bauer second. Mylan Driver third. And Hillbilly 12, Walter was the winner again. Mylan was second, and Sean DePlummer was third. And they apparently didn't have a 27 light or a open race of any type. So they had the 3 lower end wing car class races. And that was all of our races from last weekend. And
Sunday.
So we got fun race at Chicagoland Raceway, Mike Swiss's Raceway this Sunday. AWRA, the American Womp Racing Association, has their Womp Around the Clock race at Thunder Road this weekend.
And how long are they womping around the clock for?
Yeah, I'd have to ask Bill Haley in the comments.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, they kind of come up with some cool names for those races, you know.
It just sounds like maybe it's an endurance race. I don't know.
No, it's just, I didn't see anything about that, but Womp Around the Clock. So, July 7th, AWRA is going to have their All-American 500 at the Slot Car Track Concord, which in the following weekend, the 14th, at Slot Car Track Concord, home of the 2019 USRA Division II Nats, they will have their Enduro race using the Phoenix motors. And the B&E Hard Body Series will have their Enduro race at Mid-America on July 14th. And also on July 14th is the USCA Summer Series at Thaser Raceway in South Bend, Indiana. And July 26th will be the Retro Race of Champions Race for the Ring races at Mid-America Raceway on July 26th.
Okay.
And I talked about this last week, and on July 8th, they're having a memorial open house for Robert Park at Buena Park Raceway. Robert passed away a couple weeks ago, and they're going to honor him at this memorial open house. I don't know if they're having a race or not, but so they're honoring Robert Park on July 8th at Buena Park Raceway. And that's all, folks, for races and race results.
Okay.
So what's your take on enduro races, Ralph? Do you like enduro races or not? Or
Well, I do like enduro races, but well, I mean, I don't know. I guess there's really no but to it. I mean, yeah, I like them.
okay.
I don't get to do as many as I'd like to. A lot of the ones nowadays to me are just too short. It's not really a real endurance race, you know?
Okay, so what do you think? What is too short?
I mean, what's that?
What do you think the minimum should be to really make it an enduro race?
Well, I mean, like 6 hours.
Okay. And what's the longest enduro race you ever ran in?
Maybe 12.
Okay.
Been a while back though.
Okay.
Did a 6 hour one. You know, I don't know, and maybe even like 4 hours would be cool. You know, like
30 minutes each lane.
each lane. You know, but like the ones that are like 5 and 10 minutes, like, that's not really an endurance race to me.
Right.
You know? What do you think the minimum should be?
Probably 6 hours.
6?
I think the first endurance race I ever raced, years ago when they had the IMCA, which is kind of like ISRA now, but when they had the IMCA series in the Michigan area, they used to run 3 hour enduros. And I think for a while they ran one either once a month or every other month. And that was the first enduro race that I had ever run. Well, yeah. I guess it was probably the first longest enduro I had run in, because I'd run in my first slot car race was actually an enduro. It was a team enduro race, but I think we only ran 10 or 15 minute heats.
Right.
It wasn't that long of a race, and so you know, my first, I guess, like I said, the longest first real enduro I ran would have been 3 hours. It was 2-man teams. I guess wouldn't have been 30 minutes a lane, but maybe 20 minutes a lane. Yeah, 20 minutes.
Yeah, see, like a 6 hour race with a 2-man team, that's pretty good.
Right. And then
I mean, it's got to be worth traveling for people to come from far away, you know. It's got to be enough track time there.
And then I think because in 1991, Jerry Coolidge, JK Raceways had the World Championships. And we ran I believe it was 3 hour, 2-man team Eurosport endurance race. And me and Google won. And then I don't think I ran another enduro race until the first 6 hour retro Can-Am. I think it was Coops the first year. Endurance race at Columbus, like in 2009 or something. And I don't know if you were there that first year.
No, not the first year.
It was me, Randy, and Jay Kisling. We teamed up and we won. And then the following year, it was me, Randy, and Ken Green.
Yeah.
And then the following year was Terry, Chris, and James.
James.
And the fourth year was you, me, James, and Chris. And, well, I got to back up because before I ever ran the 6-hour Enduro, I went over to JP Van Rossum's Millennium Race in 2000, and we ran a 12-hour Enduro. And it was a 6-lane Carrera track. And, boy, the lap length was probably only 50 or 60 feet. If I had and we raced hard bodies.
See, I'd love to do a 24-hour one.
And
they do those with the plastic cars up in Michigan once a year.
Oh, the 30-second scale cars. Yeah, I'd love to go run that race one time.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
So,
Cool.
12 hours. We started at noon. We finished at midnight. They were 1-hour heats. And I drove the last 3 stints of my team. So
Wow.
I ran the last 3 hours.
That's a lot in a row.
Because
that's what makes it fun to me, though, It
would have been the 10th. So I ran the 10th heat, and the 11th heat, Gugu was supposed to run. It was me, Gugu, and Felipe. And so our strategy was have Felipe run like blue and orange, like the middle lanes, like just go as fast as you can. But
cruise. Yeah.
Me and Gugu will run the gutters. So I was finishing up on white or red, and then because it didn't have all eight colors, it was 6 colors. So it was Felipe's turn. I'm like, Felipe, it's 10 o'clock at night. And he's like, I'm like, your turn. I'm too tired. I cannot drive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, Gugu, nope, I'm not ready yet. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'm running it. So I ran it. Then after that, it's like, okay, Gugu, your turn for your last stint. And he's like, no. You know what? Actually, I ran the last 4 stints.
Wow.
No, 3. Me and then, well, no, it was me, Felipe, Gugu, then Felipe. So I ran the last 4. I ran the last 4 hours.
Wow.
And I think we only had like 30-second lane change. So, no big deal. But and we finished 3rd overall. So
yes, that's fun to me right there. We get a lot of driving time in,
Because what was kind of neat was the last heat of the race, which was on, I think, blue lane. Blue or yellow, I think it was yellow lane, because I think it was red, white, blue, yellow, purple, black. There was no green and orange on the track. So yellow and blue were the fast lanes because they were in the center. And I remember in the last heat of the race, I set, I think, both fastest time of the race and set the lap record for number of laps in a heat. But, man, the lane was so much faster in the lanes because I just ran red and white early in the race. And Google ran purple and black.
Right.
So, but we were told before the race would start we weren't going to finish any better than 5th. I told JP he was nuts. He said we wouldn't. But anyway, we wound up finishing 3rd, and it was a good time. So,
cool.
Yeah, play fit cars, 250 grams, hard bodies, big honking handout play fit motor. Like a 26D or something. It's huge.
All right. So if you're going to do a 24-hour Enduro with a 24-scale car, flexi car, what kind of track would you want to do it on?
Well, I don't I don't think the track layout is really all that important in an Enduro race.
Well, so I feel like if it was on a king track, it'd be boring.
Well, I think it would be boring too for you and I, but for some drivers it would still maybe be a handful. But
yeah, and then you get to the same old problem you always have is,
I think it
wants to go to the king tracks. So
I think a hill climb would be fun to do it on. I can't really. I mean, I don't think I'd want to do a 24 race on just like say an oval track, but
no,
if that's what it was going to be and wanted to do it, we'd do it. But
God, that make me sick.
Um, because
Literally.
I mean, basically all the enduros until every enduro I ever ran in until the retro Can-Am or Coupe enduro at Columbus,
Right.
they were all done on flat tracks
Okay.
because the IMCA series was
That
all
makes
about running
sense.
flat tracks.
Right. Right. No, it makes sense. Yeah.
JP's track was a flat track, and the world's track in '91 was the MTT. It was a flat track. So um, I've never ran enduro like on a super speedway king track, which I think would be boring, but it adds another element because like when you crash there, you're going to crash pretty hard.
All
So
right. So let's do it. Let's organize a 24-hour FlexiCar enduro. I'm down.
well, it's kind of funny because a couple years ago I talked to Tracy Brown about doing an enduro race down at his place on his king track and going for the Guinness World Record for a 124th 24-hour race. So the logistics is like kind of the problem. I mean, you gotta have 8 cars on the track, or at least start with 8 cars on the track. And so how many man teams do you make it? So if you've got 8 guys, 8 teams, 4 guys a team, that's 32 drivers. I mean, you can set your minimum at 2 drivers if you want, but that's whew. I don't know if I could do that myself with another guy.
Well, the driving part would be okay. It'd be the marshalling part that would
Well,
probably.
see, that's the thing. If you set it like 4-man teams minimum, then you one of your team guys has to marshal, one has to drive, and then one could be a pit man while somebody else is sleeping, or you know what I'm saying.
I mean, somebody's got to marshal that dead man for 3 hours straight.
Well, if you did 8 3-hour heats, but you could do 16.
Hour and a half heats.
Yeah, and run each lane twice. So, I mean, you could do it on any track, but I just figured that, at that time Tracy's track was so fast. It was, right in doing flexi cars, because the Guinness World Record they was done with Eurosport cars. So Tracy's track,
Like how many? I wonder how many pairs of tires that would take to go 24 hours.
well, if you ran like a super speedway, because you could run Wonder Rubber, the tires would go a long time.
Yeah.
So if you were doing a flatter or slower type track where you had to run softer rubber, you'd go through a lot more rubber.
The problem with like Tracy's is you run into like people would destroy their bodies so soon. You'd have to allow
Well, yeah,
spare bodies and
you
stuff
can
like
allow,
that.
yep, you can allow spare bodies and motors. I mean, whatever it takes to go the distance.
Huh.
I mean, you could limit it to 6 bodies, so you have to make each of your body go 4 hours. And if you tore a body up, you could take it off, put another body on, continue to run while someone's fixing up that body.
Sure, you can fix the other one, yeah.
Unless you really destroyed it. And I mean, I think if you even like, if you did it and you set rules and you maybe use a spec body that's a spec thickness, so everybody's running the same
body or something.
Yeah. I mean, the rules could definitely be made to make the cars more stronger, reliable, but yet still go pretty good.
Right.
So
yeah, it'd be pretty cool actually. We should do it.
We should do it. Put that on your plate.
All right. I mean, there's like nothing else on there, so.
More things for Ralph to do.
So, but that would be a lot of fun though.
It would be.
I mean, you'd have to have like multiple race directors too, I guess.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, it would be, I mean, yeah, I would definitely be up for it. I mean, if it was if it was for trying to set a new Guinness World Record. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you have to look into that because I think you gotta like some procedures you have to follow to
Yeah,
make
there is.
all
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, there is. But in the day of, your cell phone has a video recorder. I mean, you could videotape the whole thing too if you had to, or put it up in segments online somewhere that Guinness could go look at it. I mean, like I said, there are requirements, and I looked into this a year or two ago, and I don't really remember what all the requirements were, but I thought it'd be pretty cool and fun to do.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing it. I'm starting it.
he's doing it.
That's all.
I mean, you could even specify the cars would have to have a metal pan on them to make them more stronger.
No, yeah, yeah. Anybody who want to run 24 hours in aluminum pans, nuts. Yeah.
I'd try it.
You try it, really?
Yeah.
Because everyone's gonna be like racing at first, you know.
Well, I don't know.
And then it's just gonna be chaos. You almost have to allow like complete multiple cars, or you have to allow spare pans and guide flags and axles and gears and
Right.
motors and tires and bodies, everything.
Right. And all that would have to be changed under green flag conditions. So, yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that could be done, doable. And, I mean, there's a lot of things you do in enduro races. I mean, you could have, if you went to a raceway, it had 2 tracks. I mean, I remember one time, it was another enduro I just thought of. We raced that. We went to Boogie Speedway, but it wasn't a really long enduro. But we raced, I think, an hour on the King track, an hour on the oval track, and then went total overall laps, I think, for the winner.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, even if you had 2 tracks, you could almost like do. I mean, you could be running 16 lanes at a time, so you could have more teams. You run it like a kind of a round robin. When you come off a white on the King, you just go over and you go on red on the oval. You know what I'm saying? To cycle everybody through. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be something.
Yep. And I was thinking one year at Boogie's, they did the enduro because one time he had the LTD track that is at Mid America now. I mean, when it was brand new, it was at Boogie Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one year they ran, because I don't think I ran that race, but they ran an hour on each 3 tracks.
Okay.
LTD, oval, King track. But they didn't, they would run 8 heats on one track, then switch to the other track, run 8 heats, and then switch to the other track and run 8 heats. They went overall lap totals.
Right.
So, and then sometimes the more I think about it, the more I think, yeah, I did race on that LTD when Boogie had it, and it was at that enduro race. But I have to dig and see if I can find a race story on it.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if you've seen on Slot Car Race Talk, I posted a link about Uncle Buzzy's.
Yeah, I did.
Today. That was pretty cool. Uncle Buzzy in New York, Brooklyn, New York, has been there since 1965.
Yeah, I saw that since the 60s. I mean, that's just amazing.
Excuse me. He's got like the original American King there, Orange track, Banked Royal track, and he's got some in storage too. I mean, he's got the only known in existence American Emperor track in the basement too. I mean, it's not set up.
I think it's pretty interesting too, is the fact that he's been there that long and he doesn't actually like have races.
No.
That's what's pretty interesting about it, really. Right.
It's like an entertainment center.
Right.
And in his hours, I think in that article, he's only open a couple days a week. But I think Buzzy wisely bought the building a zillion years ago. And I mean, the building's probably worth big bucks, because it's probably prime real estate because it's, New York, Brooklyn, whatever. So it's probably worth a lot more than he paid for it. And everything's paid for, and he doesn't have to work 5, 6, 7 days a week. So,
Speaking of being worth a bazillion bucks, should we do our giveaways?
ooh, we can do that.
We're giving away $1 bazillion worth of Phoenix FK motors right now.
Don't tell Roger.
No, we're going to give away 2 motors, right?
Yep.
Okay, we'll start off with that.
Okay, winner number 1. Hey, I know that guy. Joe Ligori.
Gloria. Oh, Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt, Phoenix Motor.
Dirty Joe.
Oh, man. Don't want to ride.
Tampa, Indiana.
Yeah, he's going to go race his sprint car in Pennsylvania this weekend.
Okay. Yeah, I saw them looking for some funding for that race, I think.
Yep.
Hopefully he got some.
All right, number 2 winner. Hey, Rob Garland. I know that guy, another Indiana guy.
All right. So I want to give away a couple sets of chassis skins that fit the JKC 43 chassis. So you can draw out a couple winners for those too if you want.
A bazillion or just 1 or 2?
A bazillion.
Hey, Kevin Van Pelt. I bet he's got a C43.
Yeah, I bet he does. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Okay. Dustin Sneff.
Wow. Okay. So
another Chicago racer.
The Mid-America boys get the chassis skins.
And the
Indiana boys get the Chicago motors.
I'm sure it's rigged.
Oh, it's got to be. So
you want to give away another skin just to see if we can break the.
All right, go for it.
Dale Wilson, another Indiana guy.
There you go. So if you want a chassis skin, contact me on Facebook. If you want a motor, contact Roger at Mid-America. He'll ship them out to you.
Or yeah, let's see if Dustin and Kevin want those motors, I could just pick them up, available for pickup. But
yeah,
you know, it's funny because Shane Parent says, "Is my name in that bucket?" And I was talking to him on the phone.
Everyone says that, yeah.
And I picked it up off the floor. I sat on the thing, and his name was, I didn't even pick it. It was like right there on top. Shane Parent. So how you get in the bucket is if you like the page or comment. Every time somebody different comments or likes the page, we put their. I mean, still a whole bunch of names in there. I mean, there's probably over 100 in there. And anyone that's won so far since we started this, they're not in that bucket.
No duplicate winners on this.
No duplicate winners. And you know, I've got some stuff. I got some stuff here that's never been claimed either. I mean,
right.
So eventually, at some point, that'll go back in, and you know, we'll give that stuff away at some point. So you said you might go race.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Is that an enduro race?
That's not an enduro race.
Oh, that's right. You said it was 4 hours away.
Yeah.
I was thinking 4 hours away, 4 hours.
I might. I don't know. You know, we'll see what happens if I see how bored I get, really.
Thinking about maybe going to Concord and racing that enduro?
I doubt it. It's not really. I mean, is that really an enduro? Really? You know, like
about 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
That's kind of just a warm up.
Yeah. Right. I mean, would you travel far away to run 2.5 hours?
Well, I wouldn't travel, like, for me to go to that race, it's 9 hours. No, I would not do that.
So would you go 4 hours to run a 2.5 hour enduro?
It kind of depends on the track, the rules, who's going to be there, you know, blah, blah, blah. So
some of the enduros I ran, like, they would shut off the lights in the cars and we had to hook LEDs up for the headlights.
Yeah, I have never run that.
Okay. That was kind of fun because they just look cool at night, you know, when you're
Right.
moving around the track with the headlights on. But it was kind of a bitch because one headlight had to always be working, one headlight and one brake light.
Right.
And at the time, the lighting kits were like really crappy. They were Chinese, and half of them would be broke out of the bag, you know, like they
Right.
suck. But then eventually somebody found some LED ones, you know, which were more reliable. And then it was pretty fun, you know, like they'd flip all the lights off for one lane and then turn them on or flip them off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that was kind of cool.
Cool. So we should look forward to Ralph's 24-hour enduro race,
That's right.
RTR Racing.
Well, you know,
I hear you.
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. I think a cool track to have it. A cool track to do it on would be the American Black at Fast Tracks. You know, because it's 95 foot.
That would be kind of cool. Something you're always driving on.
Yeah.
Like that's my problem with like, say, going to Tracy's, because I just feel like that would be boring.
Could be.
But something where you're driving would be cool. You know, you're just wearing out, cramping that fucking trigger finger, like for 24 hours.
You definitely be doing that on the Royal track. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Or any kind of small track.
Yeah.
Kind of small track. You know, Dave Kearing's hill climb would kind of be cool. LTD with Rogers would be cool too. I mean, because you're always going to be driving, and anything can happen.
The other thing that would be cool to do would be like 3 races in 3 days at 3 different tracks. Like everyone shows up like Friday, runs them,
Cool.
and then you get done, and everyone hauls ass to one on Saturday and then Sunday.
Yeah.
And then like a big winner of the Triple Crown thing in the end.
Maybe
That'd
like,
be pretty cool.
Maybe like 3 6-hour enduros, or maybe
right. Yeah.
Maybe,
I mean, that'd be awesome.
Maybe 2 6s and a 3. I mean, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Is enduro racing the future?
Well, I don't know about that, but
no, but yeah. 3-track challenge would be kind of cool. I mean, you could do 2-3-hour enduros in one day at 2 different raceways if they were close enough.
Look for it on slotcarsignup.com soon.
Is that where you got to go sign up for the Phoenix?
That's where the Flexi Fiesta race is. You sign up at Slot Car Sign Up. I believe that's the.
And that race is in September.
Yeah, and I think what they got, maybe like 8 people signed up right now.
Can't say that. Last time I seen it, there was 3 or 4.
Okay, I think there's a little bit more.
Okay.
I don't think it's quite a 10 yet, but there's a couple more than 3 or 4.
Well, that's pretty early.
Yeah, right. So.
Pretty early. But that's kind of, I mean, no, never mind. I'll forget what I was saying. So, cool.
All right. Well, that's about all I got this week, really.
Yeah, like I said, I had some notes from last week that I now can't find, but I'm sure I'll find them before next week. So we can always chat about that.
Yeah.
And other than that, we got an FNRS race in August. So that's coming up. And actually, I mean, I really wasn't. I raced at Palooza, and I wasn't planning on racing again until the Rock race, but then that birthday race kind of popped up, and
you just couldn't resist.
Well, you know what was okay? Yeah, I could have resisted on Saturday because I had not opened my boxes since the Palooza race. So I kind of opened my boxes late Thursday night and, I don't know, kind of cleaned some things and out. And then Friday I didn't, and Saturday it was thrash time. And, I don't know. I was just at one point like, you know what? I don't even feel like going. This is work. And that's me. I mean, like if I'm always doing it, it's no big deal. But if I take some time off from it, it's
hard
hard
to get re-going again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So, but, you know, being as we're going to have the rock race there next month, I thought, well, this is going to be a good kind of warm-up race to go and run.
Right.
You know, most importantly, make sure cars still go around, which, I mean, they should, but and it was the first time that I'd run the Scorpion motors or raced the Scorpion motors in the retro cars. And, you know, I actually, in both F1 and Can-Am, I had a Pro Slot FK in my backup F1 or one of my F1s and one of my Can-Ams. And they were a skosh. I mean, maybe not a half a tenth faster, but they were a skosh faster than the Scorpion motors. But I just decided, you know what, I'm going to run the Scorpion motors and just see how they
do. Put some laps on them.
And you know what? It's way different driving in the retro cars. It's back to feel the car feels like you got puppy dogs in them.
Right.
They just don't have all that
jerky torque and brakes.
Yeah, right. They are just so much smoother.
Yeah, I like that. That was
yeah
better feeling, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean the cars were good, but yeah, I mean, so yeah, it was just kind of, you know, it's Johnny's birthday. It's a few hours away. We're going there next month. Kind of use it as a test and tune.
It all just made sense.
And I want to run some laps on the LTD since they redid it. So, because that was the third race. Well, when I raced LMP, I would have been the fourth race because they had run hard bodies on it first. Then they ran a weekly lap first. Right? Then they ran JRLs and an LMP. So, well, like I said, the track just needs more rubber on it.
No, it'll come shortly.
I know. But yeah, the track. I mean, Gary Girding did an outstanding job, and so, you know, thanks to Gary and Roger for bringing back a pretty track that was in pretty bad shape back to some life and some real usability. So, yep. So, you know, that track's going to provide some good race. I mean, you know, Brian and Ricky and I, we all ran within 2 laps of one another for the biggest portion of the race.
Right.
And then, you know, they ran better numbers on red and white than I did. I mean, I ran a good white, but
home track advantage, baby.
Well, I mean, they got laps on it. I'm not saying they got a home track advantage.
No, just experience on it, you know.
You know, the way the track used to be before they redid it, yeah, now we're talking home track advantage because there was a lot of problems with that track.
Works to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of been removed. So, you know, like I told you before, and I just need more laps on it. And I was real conservative on red and too conservative, but I just didn't run. I never ran red in practice to feel comfortable getting around it. So it was just hard to run or on the King track and try and run the LTD and showing up race day morning. And, you know, spent the first hour there getting the Can-Am and F1 cars going, and, you know, went over and spent 20 minutes or so on that, and then came back and raced F1, and, you know, then ran Can-Am a couple laps and went back over there for a little bit. And then, you know, it was just I was happy with my third place finish for what little bit I put in it, but
right.
So, but the track has a really good driving rhythm. LTDs always did. So, good time.
Chicago would be a great place to do the three track challenge because there's
all 3 tracks in one building.
Real close. You know?
Oh, 3. Okay, if you went to 3 different raceways?
Yeah.
Okay, so besides Mid-America and Chicagoland.
Well, there's the place with that hill climb. How far away are they? Speedville or whatever? And then you got the
Okay, Speedville's, yeah, I'm gonna say it's 2 or 3 hours away at least.
But what's the other one with Rogers Hill Climb? Where's that at?
Bloomington.
How far away is that? Like an hour?
That's a couple hours away from
Yeah, but you're not gonna find many other places that have 3 tracks within
Well, no, I
an
understand
hour.
what you're saying. No, I understand what you're saying. I mean,
No.
it's like you could go, for example, okay, you could go to, say, you go to Fast Tracks and you run on the black, and you go a half hour down the road, you could run on the American King at HMS, or you can run on the American Hill Climb with the crossovers, and you could shoot up to downriver in an hour and a half and run on the King track if you pick the Aristocrat at, or you could go like down to Carl Hoffheinz and run on the paperclip.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's
I
you know,
like that.
you know, and sad news, bad news. Forest Hoover at the track raceway has closed the raceway.
Yeah, I saw that.
Basically the landlord there wanted to raise the rent kind of astronomically, and then things that needed to be fixed was going to be even more money per month, and wanted a long-term lease, and it just got to a point, it wasn't happening there. So the raceway's closed now. I know one track is in storage. I would think all of them are by now, but on the good side, and I was going to bring this up last week. PA Watson's up and running now with G16, and Chantel at Dallas Slot Cars should be up and running.
So is Forest plan on reopening or no?
I think Forest is done.
Okay.
I think that if anybody's looking for a really nice small hill climb, he's got one. If they're looking for kind of a medium-sized oval, I don't really know what the running lap length is on his red lane, but it's
Right.
a small oval. It's not a big. I mean, it's an oval. It's not a tri-oval.
Sure. Right.
It's a really good, fast, fun oval. Some guys don't like it because you do tear stuff up on it because it is fast. I mean,
No. Yeah.
so he's got that, and I don't know what the status is of the crossover figure eight. I believe that's owned by Rick Stagan, so I don't think that that's. I mean, it could be for sale, but you'd have to contact Rick on that.
Right.
So, and that's another one too. I mean, you could have a 3-track endurance race, in South Bend between the two raceways.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's like in Chicago, for example. I mean, you could run 4 different tracks at 2 raceways. If you went to Swiss's, you could run the King track, you could run on the flat track. Go to Rogers, and you could run on the LTD, and maybe run on the oval, or maybe run on the kind of figure 8 track he's got. I forget what they call that thing, but so yeah, there would be a lot of options there. So the ultimate enduro, 4 tracks, 2 raceways. If you did a scenario like that. So, and there's a lot of places out there. They have 2 or 3 raceways, like you said, in a close distance.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, think about it. Give us your take. Comment.
Give us
What's the secret word of the show?
Enduro, because we've been talking about enduros.
All right.
And that really wasn't the plan. We really weren't going to talk about enduros.
Yeah, it just kind of went that way.
That subject, and sorry if we bored you to death, but maybe you'll think, wow, that's cool stuff. But yeah,
Next week you could be more satisfied.
We might show you how to install headlights on your enduro car.
There you go.
All right, so next week, episode 47, getting close to that birthday.
Getting to that 5-2 mark.
I'm going to have to go buy a candle.
That's right.
So, okay. So, to wrap up.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Everybody have a good weekend.
Be safe. We'll see you next week.
Everybody have a good, safe weekend.